Have you decided that it's about time to start shifting some of your investments away from Wall Street this year, just simply to stay away from the stock market volatility and craziness that we're seeing all around the markets? But maybe you're concerned, you're too busy to learn the ropes and to do all the research that's involved, especially when investing in alternative assets. Hey, if you can give me the next 5 minutes, I want to walk you through the strategy that saves me and other investors that I invest with 20 hours a week at least in finding and vetting and investing into these alternative assets. While still finding one or two good deals every month that are actually worthwhile among this sea of deals that would not really be good to invest in. Okay, but first, let's explain the current situation with this economy. I guess the best way to explain it is volatility. You see a lot of investors are just nervous. They're nervous about Wall Street. They're worried about their allocations they have there. They feel stuck following the same tired strategies, mutual funds, 401ks, especially taking advice from advisors who don't even follow their own advice. And sadly, they really don't have much wealth of their own to invest. So, deep down, you probably already feel like something's just not right. You've worked hard. You've deferred income into 401ks and maybe you've done some investing. You've set aside money and maybe bought some real estate, things outside of the public markets, but your portfolio still doesn't feel like it's really moving the needle. It's volatile, it's confusing, and sometimes people say they feel like they don't even control their money anymore. Alternative investing sounds enticing to just about everyone, but what I'm hearing is that to be successful, investors think you have to dedicate hours of your time to research and vetting deals. And you're likely wondering, is there a smarter way? Is there a better way to invest that doesn't eat up all my time? And the answer is yes. So, in my free recorded masterclass, I'm going to show you exactly how the wealthy are building real diversified portfolios outside of Wall Street. And I'm going to explain how you can do it too. And all this without needing to become a full-time deal analyst or risk your money on sketchy deals. Now, finally, in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything that you can expect from that series. Okay. Now, if you're wondering who I am and why you should even be listening to me, I get it. My name is Kent, and I've been investing in alternatives for almost 20 years. Like most people, I started off, growing my own business and working a W-2 first and then building a business. And as I stepped away from my business, that's when I realized the importance of not only working for my money, but then flipping that and truly having my money start working for me. And then I became all in focused on these aspects of investing. Now, over time, I realized something really important. The people who actually had financial freedom, they weren't relying on the most used method. The 401k and the stock market, they're not made to build wealth. These wealthy investors were in private markets. They were in real estate and energy, private credit, and other alternative assets that gave them tax benefits and never shows up on your Fidelity dashboard. So when I saw that, I dove in. First thing I did was flip houses and I started buying real estate notes. I started using self-directed IRAs. I invested in mobile home parks and apartment buildings and oil and gas projects. And let me tell you, I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I chased deals I had no idea chase, no reason to chase. I trusted the wrong sponsors. I was trusting returns and yields. And I realized access to these deals is not enough. They're everywhere. You've got to have a system. That's what I've built over the past 20 years. It's a system, it's a vetted, repeatable process that I use in my Smart Flex fund, which, by the way, gives serious investors access to the highest quality private investments without having to do it all themselves. Now, before I go any further, let me be totally upfront with you. This information, this process, it's not for everyone. If you've never even thought about alternative investments, you need to probably start there. This may not be the right place for you to start, but someday it will. Now, if you're not an accredited investor and you don't understand what that is, the deals I talk about legally aren't available to you right now, though you're totally welcome to reach out and ask, if you're how close you are to qualifying, and that's easy to Google and see where you stand. Now, hopefully, Congress is going to act soon to expand access and relax the accredited investor rules. But for now, we have to stick with those. Now, if you're looking for one big, reliable home run swing or some investment that's going to just fix everything, you're not going to find that here. Although I will say that my fund does make occasional allocations into startups that have that exponential potential. We just don't make these investments the foundation of our portfolio. This is about smart diversification and long-term growth using systems and strategy behind every decision we make, but without having to put all the work in individually. We invest as a team. We use AI alongside real experience to help us mitigate our risk in these deals. Now, I'm going to give you just a quick overview of the framework that we use. This is super simple and it's not our whole system. And I'm going to teach it to you inside the masterclass in more detail. It's the exact strategy that I use to vet every single deal that we bring into the Smart Flex Fund. And the whole point of it is it's smart. So let me see here. It's smart. Let me grab another pen. S is for sponsor. If you've ever done real estate alternatives, the sponsor is key. Listen, who's running the deal? What's their track record? Transparency, skin in the game, all that. M is for market. Where's the deal located? What's the job growth like? Populations trends? Is there demand for this property? A is for the asset itself. If it's an apartment building, how old is it? How are the electrical, the plumbing? There's a lot of things to know about these assets. R, we're going to look really closely at the risk, and then we've got to decide, based on that risk, is there enough return to make it realistic? Okay, is it worth investing in? What's the downside? Is there a backup plan? T, you don't ever want to try to time the market, but it is important to know what's going on there. And the huge one right there is taxes. Why this deal now, and then what tax advantages come along with it. Every deal I consider and every one that makes it into our fund goes through this exact process and a whole lot more. And it's not just me, but a group of 6 to 8 trusted fund managers that I partner with that are looking at every one of these deals. So if you're looking to stop chasing random deals and finally invest with some clarity and confidence, I want to invite you to watch the free masterclass. Okay, that'll get you started. Just click the link below and get started watching that masterclass. It's going to open your eyes to some things that maybe you've never seen before. I'm going to show you 2 key aspects that are most important for investing, and that is, what private investment opportunities are the wealthy using that most investors never hear about? Do you feel like sometimes you're not being told everything that's out there? And the second one is how we've personally made this so simple, accessible, and fully vetted so other investors don't have to do this by themselves. This masterclass has just real insight, real strategies, and it's just a smarter way to invest. So if you click below, you watch the masterclass, it's totally free. I'm going to see you on the inside, and you can start learning how to safely invest in alternative investments.